right. Play with matches. We're have a crazy topic to talk to everybody about today, and that is the Boy Scouts of America. Something that our children will not be doing. Huh, Gabrielle?
No, I didn't do Did you do Boy Scouts when you were a kid? I didn't do Girl Scouts either.
That was not even on our radar at all.
No.
This just, you know what? Before we even get started, this just made me realize people in the comments who are saying it's weird that you guys are having a conversation without looking at each other.
We are looking
at each other.
Just not like this.
Yeah. Like on our screen, I am literally looking directly at Gabrielle's face. So I can see her face. She can see mine.
It's a monitor.
So everybody, it's like, this is, we assume you guys would rather see our faces than see us like
this. Like, that's just weird.
Yeah.
Right? Is that not weird? I think
you guys tell us in the comments if you'd rather see my profile all the time. Plus, and
then we like to be on camera next to each other because we tried the two separate. Like y'all should see our setup. We have two separate cameras. We did the split angle. Like we tried it.
Way more equipment than we need.
And we were just like, that's not right.
Yeah.
So thank you for the feedback, but
yeah.
We'll keep it
and then like one time I'm like, let's just do it like this. How I do my regular channel. I think probably out of laziness, and then it was like, oh, this is 100 times better.
Yeah.
So, anywho, Boy Scouts of America are actually, in my opinion, the best example of go woke, go broke there is.
That is quite the statement because there's quite a few.
What's your number one example?
Bud Light.
Obviously.
Duh.
Obviously. You know who's suffering right now, though? Go woke, go broke is...
And Target.
That's what I was just going to say. Target, they pulled all their Pride stuff.
I have not shopped at Target since the transgender swimsuit situation.
It's insane.
In the children's section.
How quickly that entire thing flipped. What's up, guys? So we're working very hard to grow this channel. If you wouldn't mind subscribing to help us grow and liking this video, we would appreciate it immensely. Thank you, guys.
And I friggin' loved Target.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you're a Target.
Loved Target.
We used to
they lost my business. Now, how many years has this been?
Since that happened?
Yeah.
It was last Pride.
Was it?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I think so.
I don't know. I feel like might have been even longer. Anyways, since that happened, I have not shopped there one time.
No,
I won't even do
Pride.
an online order.
It was 11 months ago.
Was it?
Yeah.
I feel like it was longer.
I don't know. Either way,
That's
though.
how much I miss it. I feel like it's been forever.
It is like.
But no.
It's so crazy to think about how powerful like Twitter and all that, like the vice grip that they had on social media was, because they literally created an environment where you could not say anything against this stuff without getting attacked by bots, potentially canceled, potentially losing your account. And all that happened is one of the main ones, the main platforms got purchased by someone who's a free speech advocate, who also, by the way, is one of the most anti-woke people on the face of the earth. And just like that, like inside of a year, it's just like over,
Yeah.
But if you really think about it,
that just tells you how close it was to the surface the whole time.
Oh yeah.
Like they must have had to work so hard to keep that buried.
I don't know, dude. I feel like as soon as they set a few examples, like this big visible person said this, they're gone. And so then the next tier of people, like that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Because the reason you call people influencers is because they have a lot of reach and they influence other people.
Is that what that word means?
Oh, wow. Wow, Gabrielle. You know what? I can't get my super profound thoughts out if you just, she's always minimizing me, you guys.
I'm always cutting him off and not letting him talk.
She's always demasculating me in front of everyone.
Okay, go.
God. Anyway, no, but so.
Sorry, you're so strong and so smart.
Yeah. Everybody's like, I heard you have a huge dick. I'm all, I do. She's all, sure. Yeah, it's huge. Anyway, but yeah, like the thing is, like, influencers obviously are extraordinarily, like attached to their influencer status.
Yeah.
It's especially if it's the way you earn a living.
Earning income, yeah.
As soon as that's your main source of income, dude, you have any idea what you'll do to protect that?
A lot.
Yeah. And so if all it is like, hey, don't go hard on the trans issue. It's like, God, but I really want to. They're all, do you want to so bad that there's a high probability that you will have no platform afterwards?
Account.
It's like, fuck, no.
Not that bad.
Yeah. So that's why I think, like, after they made some pretty public examples of people, And like, I just think people self-censored after that in a lot of cases.
I think some of the big accounts did, but I'm talking about like all the smaller accounts, people who just like didn't care. You know, like there must have been so many of those, like having to ban accounts left and right and delete comments. Right. I mean, obviously it's like written into an algorithm and it's not like a human being doing each one.
In a lot of cases it was human beings.
Really?
So, yeah, that were that were making those calls because they had these huge moderation teams because Elon bagged so many of them. Yeah. But like, because and when you think about it, if you have a moderation group that has a mandate for protecting, the safe space of the platform, and it's staffed exclusively with these kids straight out of college who just got brainwashed into the most ludicrous.
That's how I was right when I got out of college.
You were not like these kids.
I mean, it's
Gabrielle,
obviously...
I've been married. I've been with you since you got out of college.
No, but I'm saying like we've had this conversation. Grew up in like a relatively conservative town, I would say for the most part. My little desert town is mostly conservative. And then I went to Santa Barbara and came out and like, yeah, Obama, like just like hardcore leaning liberal. Yes.
Yeah, but like voting for Obama is not even
like I wanted to go like
connected.
Go to the campaign things. Like I was.
That's not connected to being woke, dude.
No.
I voted for Obama.
I know.
You think I've ever gone woke?
No, but like if I was in Santa Barbara at the time when all of this was happening, like I for sure would have come out like that.
You think so? You're that easily influenced, huh?
No, it was
actually,
just
you're right, you
that like the stronghold was so strong.
Yeah.
Like it would have been impossible to avoid it.
No, you're right. You would have. And I'll tell you exactly why, because it's not necessarily a negative in your case. It's just the way that you are wired is to like assimilate, like because you move schools so many times and all that. So it's like, okay, so if everybody's just agreed that this is like what it is, you can convince yourself, okay, this makes it. I still can't get to a place where like there's no way, none whatsoever, that you would have gotten yourself to a place where like, oh, a fucking guy who owns a shop chased a black thief out of the place and you're going to get convinced that that's because of institutional racism against black people. Like because you have to be an absolute fucking idiot to think that. Yeah. You would have never gotten there.
This is true. I mean, it's gone way beyond where I feel like I would have been comfortable being. It would have been.
I think on the trans thing, you might have been a lot more kind of like, that's the way that they live. Yeah. It's just that one issue actually, maybe.
Yes.
And now you're like, you fucking freaks.
I mean, don't go that far.
But now she lives. So like we said, she's good at assimilating and she lives with me.
So I've had to assimilate to this craziness.
That's not crazy. It's actually the most logical common sense positions generally. If you can get past me sounding like I'm yelling all the time and listen to what I'm saying, it's like, wow, that actually is a really well-structured position. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. Like so the entire moderation team is populated with the ones who are actually not that smart in general.
This Target thing actually happened.
I'm telling you, it was last Pride. I guarantee you it was either June or July of 2023. And we're gonna bet, and if I win, something bad's gonna happen to you. Anyway.
Yeah, it was 23. You're right.
Told you.
Wow.
I got a steel trap memory. Gabrielle is better at like 90% of things, but
Target has said that their Pride collection will appear in select stores.
San Francisco.
And they cut the LGBT apparel for kids.
Yeah, I know.
Weird.
Yeah. Amazing how
we don't want to sexualize our children. Like
yeah, and like two boycotts will just change the entire game. I mean, Bud Light was such a rock to the system, where it was just like
it was so dumb.
I mean,
I wonder if that chick has a job somewhere else now.
Dylan Mulvaney?
No. I would not say chick about.
I was gonna say. I was like, she's back in Santa Barbara.
The marketing person.
Heiner Schneid.
Yeah.
I wonder too, dude.
Are you hireable after that?
I don't know. See, the thing, we actually talked about that.
Yeah.
I already finished my point about the moderation.
Sorry.
No. I'm just saying, like, you guys all know where I was going with that. They have independent, like, authority to ban, and they're all, this person said that men are not women. You are shadow banned. I got shadow banned, and I never said anyway. But yeah, like so Heiner Schneid.
Yeah.
She comes from those like elite schools, very wealthy family.
Yep.
Said all the right buzzwords, And I assumed that because she got fired for doing woke stuff, that some woke organization would just immediately pick her up. Like I thought like LinkedIn would hire her.
But like, okay, so I kind of thought that as well, but the fact that she didn't have even the slightest pulse on the target consumer for the product that she was the marketing whatever leader for, like I think that is a stronger reason not to hire her than her pedigree or whatever, because like that, it was really, really dumb. Like just really, really, really dumb.
It was a catastrophic misstep. And the thing that made it so much worse for her was that it's not just that she hired Dylan Mulvaney, it's that she had that interview right before that where she stated that it was her decision and her mandate
changing it
to bring Bud Light. She called it a failing brand that needed to be brought to a new type of consumer.
It's like
that's really what she believed.
Bud Light.
Yes.
Like Bud Light, although we all know it as like shit beer, it's Bud Light.
Yeah.
Like they had their brand recognition was strong.
It was the number one beer in America. Let me ask you this.
Failing brand that needs a total revamp. Like, are you on crack?
Exactly.
Like literally.
Yeah.
That's why I think she's not hireable, because anyone who would think that doesn't belong in that position.
It's like, it sounds like a really big set of buzzwords and talk track to get that job.
Yes.
But it's like, okay, well, the thing about having a job like that is now you are responsible for results.
Increasing revenue.
No one gives a shit about what you're saying now.
Exactly.
Like now it's just numbers. Like the dude who you and I, that went with us to UFC 300 with our friend I just try not to use people's names.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Drickus Duplessis fan.
Yeah.
So he comes on as chief or either global head of sales or chief revenue officer, whatever. And his company has like doubled in revenue every year since they've been there. And he is obviously an extraordinarily valued employee. And like, that's what we were talking about. It's like, dude, no one cares about anything except the numbers.
Yeah.
Like your job as chief revenue officer is to increase revenue.
Yes.
Bottom line.
That's
if you come back and you're like, well, we thought that blah, 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 they're all, you thought?
Yeah.
Dude, this is a zero-sum game, son.
Black and white.
Exactly.
More money or not.
Yeah, exactly. And Heinerschneid, okay, let me ask you this.
She killed Bud Light.
I know. I think that what did you double major in?
Psychology and communication.
Okay, well, you've always been excellent with marketing stuff. Maybe that's just instinct, but let me ask you.
No, it's psychology and communication.
That's fair. But what is the number one rule as it relates to customer acquisition or retention in terms of cost?
It's easier to keep an existing customer. It's cheaper.
It's an exponentially more expensive endeavor
to acquire,
get than to keep one.
Yeah.
So the obvious
don't piss off your customer base.
Exactly. It's like, oh, okay, we need to get into new markets. You know, we need to get, and it's like, first thought, is your strategy going to make
piss
you
off
lose
your loyal customers,
your current customers, because it costs 10 times as much to go get new customers that you don't even know if they're going to. It's like common sense, dude.
It was so dumb.
It was so
like
dumb.
She couldn't have made a dumber move.
It's the dumbest marketing decision maybe ever. You know, it's just like listening. That situation quantifies exactly what people in the new right are always talking about, which is like this elitist group that has no nothing about reality in there. You know what I mean? It's just
they don't have anything seated in reality. They're literally in their own.
They're in a bubble talking to each other.
Yes.
And they have no pulse on real life. All right. So last thought on the Bud Light thing in Heinerschneid is the following. I have no idea whether she got hired. We could look it up, but we'll talk about that another day. I know she wasn't allowed to talk about the situation.
Yeah,
I think
they were like, just stop.
Well, no, someone actually approached her and her roommate on the street, and the roommate was like, she's not allowed to say anything. So I think
there's probably a severance package with a gag order. Yeah.
A big one.
Yeah.
A real big one. But I mean, again, the only thought I have, to part from this story is just that I think that the people who believe in this woke stuff they'll see it as like, we got to take care of our own. We're not going to let these right-wing racist transphobes decide she doesn't get to work.
I agree with that, but I also think that if it's an even somewhat intelligent company, they're going to think to themselves, yes, we agree with her ideologies, but she didn't understand the consumer base at all, and she single-handedly almost bankrupt one of the most recognizable brands in America.
She literally destroyed one of the most successful brands over the last forever.
Every single human being on planet Earth knows who Bud Light is.
Yeah. How did you not see that coming?
That's what I'm saying. So like, even though there are brands out there that might be like, oh yeah, we agree with her, go whatever her name is, like she's great. It would be such a dangerous and risky move to bring that woman into your marketing department because she's obviously an idiot.
Yeah. And think about this, dude, really quick. God, Bud Light, it's just such a fun topic, dude. Think about this. What was the potential positive impact of having Dylan Mulvaney?
None.
Nothing.
None.
Nothing. Dylan Mulvaney's customer or viewers are all teenagers.
Children. Exactly.
They can't buy beer.
Well, in Bud Light's defense, I'm sure that there are a lot of teenagers who drink it illegally.
Okay, but
and get it purchased because it's cheap.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I know that's what was always at our parties was like Bud Light, Natty Ice, Coors Light, you know?
No. Keystone and Natty Light were...
We didn't have... Keystone wasn't like super big. It was always Bud Light. Natty Ice was like...
Dude, I drank Natty Ice or Keystone Ice when I wanted to get blacked out. And most of the time I got light.
So good.
All right, so let's talk about these freaky dumbbells at Boy Scouts, because this is actually like a completely different type of go woke, go broke, and it's actually got much more layers. All right, so this is from 2 days ago, right? The Boy Scouts swerve left is driving families away.
I like that.
So
that title.
Yeah. So like in a nutshell, I will break this down because I watched a whole documentary about it. Basically, the Boy Scouts, first of all, the public part of this was the Boy Scouts started taking flack because, from the gender ideologue and lunatics when they had carte blanche to attack anyone.
Yeah.
They went after the Boy Scouts. They're all, because it's like their brain was like, where is there anything gender?
It's called the Boy Scouts.
Yeah. Oh, so what? Are you going to allow biological girls who are actually trans into Boy Scouts? It's like the most obvious target for them ever.
For sure.
And so they went hard, right? And the Boy Scouts were like, oh, geez,
what do we do?
Oh, geez. And then, of course, they end up, caving and then saying they'll allow girls, which obviously is like, wait, what? And not just because the whole thing is like, you're not just saying we'll allow girls. You're like, we're allowing this trans ideology into the Boy Scouts. What kind of people send their kids to Boy Scouts? Do you think it's these people who are like purple hair freaks? How many of them do you know what I mean?
I don't know, man.
Really?
Yeah.
You think, like, do you know anyone who has put their children in Boy Scouts?
Girl Scouts.
Boy or Girl Scouts?
Girl Scouts, yeah.
Who?
There are some people here.
Oh.
I'm not gonna.
Well, Girl Scouts is not Boy Scouts because
I don't
know. No, I'll tell you why.
Are they separate organizations?
They are very different for the reason that I believe Boy Scouts was in a tough spot and had to do this, or felt like they had to. Is because what's really underlying this and what initially started the fallout with Boy Scouts where they were scrambling is they got exposed as having hired or allowed volunteers. A million of them.
Yeah, of course.
A million of them.
Magnet for that.
Exactly.
Be honest.
And that, I mean, honestly, so the documentary I watched about it was all about
let's fix it by letting in the trans kids.
Yeah, because that probably will help. But it was like the documentary I watched really painted them in a very bad light, having to do with them burying all these stories of the scout leaders that had come in and done whatever. And it was, it was one of those things where I really, really, really tried to watch those things and try to imagine being in both positions. And like, it's a pretty easy position to be in, to be like, we need to, do whatever we have to do to make this public and warn people and yada, yada. But if you're an executive at the Boy Scouts, right, and you really believe, like you're an Eagle Scout, and then now you're an executive Boy Scouts, and you really believe this is a very valuable program that people should do, you have to be like, okay, this is a problem, obviously, because it's happening repeatedly, but in the grand, it's like, okay, so if they got 1,000...
The greater good or whatever.
Yeah, they got 1,000 troops, and there are 3, like terrible situations that happened. And you're like, well, what can we do? Like none of these 3 guys had any previous, convictions. Actually, I don't know about that. Like, so don't quote me on that. But so you're just like, so I'm going to go public and then make everybody think that if they put their kids in Boy Scouts, then this is what's going to happen to them? Or we just try to do a better job screening or what,
Yeah. I mean, you can't fault Boy Scouts for trying to cover it up.
Yeah. It's like they kind of had to do that in my opinion.
It's a business.
But it happened so many times that it starts to look real sinister.
Yeah.
But I just think like you got to look at each one as an isolated incident. But then you do have to like obviously go, we need to do a better job
kind of check and balance
screening,
in place. Yeah.
like bottom line, because of course that is a magnet. It's like,
of course,
hey,
yeah.
Can you just
where there are a bunch of little boys together all at one time with sleepovers and
where they
obviously.
go, they take the kids.
Yes.
And Boy Scouts also is kind of the kind of thing that a parent that wants to get rid of their kid a little bit, and then the kid, they get to know them really well. They're all, so tell us about your home life. And they're all, my daddy's not around. They're all say, what? Oh, really?
Awful.
Well, it's true. They're predators.
Yeah.
They're just got, that's why I think we should just put them all on the ground, dude. Like,
I agree.
Put them in the ground.
That part of your brain's broken.
And it's the most.
You don't need to be here.
And you're a dude. Strongest driver of behavior there is sex drive.
Yeah.
And so if your sex drive is wired to go corrupt innocent little children, we could either lock you in a box forever or we can just put you down, dude. Yeah. It's unfortunate that you were born with that defect, but guess what? Lots of people are born with terrible, terrible birth defects, and they live either horrible lives or die.
Yeah.
Yours is unfortunate. It's just we have to make a hard call here. It's actually not that hard. Bye.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So like, they go on these sleepovers and they get to know the kids and they know you can sleep in my tent and all that stuff. But like, bottom line is it was a huge scandal.
When was this?
I can't remember exactly when it all came out, but I watched the documentary, and the guy who had worked so hard to expose it, basically he had been brought on to help, or I can't remember if it was specifically for this,
he
but
was
like
brought on to Boy Scouts.
As an executive of Boy Scouts, and he was one of the guys who was like responsible for safety and whatever. And so he kept coming to the higher ups and being like, this is a problem. Like we need to do this. And they just refused to do any of the stuff that he said.
Like flipped and went exposer.
Yeah, exactly. Because they wouldn't do anything. And so like he went and exposed him. And anyway, so they're like,
I think that's fair.
Yeah, me too. But he was on so they were on their back foot already, losing tons and tons of, and so they're like, Jesus, what are we going to do?
This.
Yeah.
Let's read this.
Oh, all right. So, Boy Scouts of America has caved to the wokeist. Surprise, surprise. Its membership is down the tube. Scouts soon to be rechristened under the genderless HR speak moniker Scouting America have swerved left. The name is the name change is big, of course, just one more assault on boy-friendly spaces. Exactly.
Read that. Hang on. Boy Scouts go up under the image. Nope. Down, right there. The Boy Scouts of America membership fell from 1.9 million in 2019 to 1.1 in 23. Like that's almost half.
But that's also insane that there are still 1 million Boy Scouts. That's a lot, dude.
Yeah.
There's only 300 million Americans in the United States, 350 or whatever. That's a lot of kids. That's way more than I would have guessed.
It's huge. I was never part of it, nor did I want to be a Girl Scout. But I know like a lot of kids were when I was younger.
See, the thing is like I think
Genevieve has a couple girlfriends who are in it.
Really? Because like forget about all of this stuff and just think about the Scout program. If you had come up through the Scout program and you knew how to create fire, create shelter, do that like in the wilderness, it's like genuine survival skills. That would be one of the things that you thought is most important for your kids.
And it's also like the first sorority and fraternity type deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you bond with people in those environments. Did you guys ever have like retreats in high school?
I don't think so.
No. I think we did at De La Salle just, because but they were like kind of, well, not kind of, they were like, kind of like religious retreats. Yeah. But you got to skip school. And so, me and my boys always would go. And like, I remember the first one that we went on, it was this like connection with the guys.
Fix our viewingness.
Oh, there you go. But I felt like
make us bigger if we're not even talking about what we're talking about.
Oh, jeez. But anyway, I felt this connection with you guys that were there that I remember being like, whoa, I've never felt so like close to like, people like this before. You know, because I was, I don't know, whatever, 14, 15.
It's the first time that you're spending several days together in a home with, and
you're doing common stuff. You wake up, it's like, when's breakfast? We all go, then you sit around and you talk really deep about your life and all that stuff. And it's like, and those guys, those are some of my best, you know, high school friends after that specifically.
That's like we do them, like with what I'm doing, you know, like that's why we do the retreats, pull people in, create the bond, like.
Yeah. But, I can totally understand why people who went up, you know, came up through Boy Scouts would have done that. And at the same time, if people are going to not drink a beer because they did a single ad with a trans weirdo, what do you think the same people are going to do if you're like, oh, hey, you know the thing that's like most sacred to you in the world? Well, guess what? We're letting in drag queen story hour. They're like, oh, is that right? With my kids? Yeah. That's where they pushed too far right there.
The kids.
So if they would have just left it alone and like made it to like, they could have like kind of indirectly groomed the kids into it being normal. Yeah. But as soon as they started going, like really going for the kids, that's where they fucked up and they pushed too far. And then all
people are willing to let a lot of shit go until it impacts their children.
Exactly. Okay, so this is, but there's also the fact that it's been letting in girls and trans kids for some time during the George Floyd riots. The outfit absurdly added a diversity and inclusion merit badge to its Eagle Scout. Wow. To be an Eagle Scout, you needed to have the diversity and inclusion badge. That right there is what did it. They let in one of the diversity and inclusion people. They are absolute cancers, dude. Yep. Whatever happened to woodcraft, soapbox derbies, and roasting marshmallows over a campfire? Exactly. Hey, what do you think is better for assimilation between races and cultures? Going and then collectively building things together without mentioning the fact that, oh, weird, hey, you're Mexican and you're white. Like, kids don't see
they don't
race.
Care.
They don't see it unless you bring it up. And it's like, well, now let's talk about diversity and inclusion and why this person is different from this one. It's the most counterproductive fucking thing that has ever been done in the history of fucking humanity.
100% agree.
Yeah, that's why people sign up for Scouts. Unsurprisingly, huge swaths of former Scout families have left. Membership fell from 1.9 to 1.1, 43%. Damn. Yep. Wow. When are these big, the heads of these big, broad-based organizations finally going to get it? Right now. Right now.
It's happening.
They took away the biggest weapon that they had, which was manufacturing consent through the social media platforms. Because even my YouTube channel manager told, like, I mean, it's not like he has a bunch of power there, but he just said, because I was discussing, like, you know, would I get a strike for this, that, whatever, and just kind of in passing, he's like, because Elon, you know, changed things so much at Twitter, he's like, you know, all the other platforms have to kind of, follow suit a little bit because there's a place where people can say that it's a huge platform or whatever. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Like YouTube has a couple things that they are absolutely steadfast on. And one of them is the medical misinformation thing. I understand. I mean, honestly, you do have to have a guideline about medical misinformation. Sure. It's just like, but who's determining what is medical misinformation? Because imagine if someone is going on there during a pandemic and they're like, you know, listen, you know what? You can drink dish soap and then you definitely don't need to go to the hospital in the event that you get Ebola.
That was happening with like bleach or something, I think.
No, that was a made up story. That was that one was one of the ones. Yeah, because
was like a satire story.
No, because the big guy, when he was president, of course, was like he talked about hydroxychloroquine. Actually, I can't say that one, but that drug, and they made it out like he had recommended that people take like fish cleaner or something. It was like completely misconstrued. Another one of those ones that they were, you know, it's like the just fabricated propaganda. Anyway, so Americans don't like to have politics injected into every little aspect of their lives. That goes for buying beer, shopping at big box retailers, and finding wholesome activities for their kids. As with the Bud Light Dylan Mulvaney fiasco and countless other examples, when woke overlords try to make even the simplest day-to-day activities part of a part and parcel of some bizarre propaganda campaign, regular folks are now brave enough to shout no. And that This is a kids group, somehow makes it all the worse. Children don't have strong political views. They just want to have fun and learn, not be indoctrinated. Jackpot.
Mic drop.
And that's exactly what it is. It's like, you think that we can't recognize why you're doing this. You're trying to indoctrinate the next generation, and you fucked up because now you got the opposite. Why would we be talking about how stupid all this shit is all the time in our house if you hadn't pushed so far?
Exactly.
My daughter sends me fucking memes making fun of the trans agenda. My daughter, and all the time.
Furries.
She's like, and furries. Like, how would that would have never been on her radar if you guys didn't push so far hard to where we were talking about it all the time. Your fault. Your fucking fault. Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Because we had to counteract what they're doing.
Exactly. Gabrielle, what are your final thoughts about the Boy Scouts and every other thing?
Oh, I don't know. This is a loaded question. I don't know, man. Go woke, go broke. It's just not a good idea.
Doesn't go well. Mm-mm. What's the first example of something you saw where someone went woke and you personally were like, fuck that? Because I remember you were mad at Nike. Was there anything before that?
I don't know. Target was the most mad I've been. Nike was annoying, putting, again, fucking Dylan Mulvaney in like women's sports bras and showing off women's clothes. Like that's what it would look like on an actual woman. I'm like, this is clothing designed for a female body and we're putting it on a man. You're not selling me anything. Mm-hmm. But probably Target. That's my biggest one because I loved Target and having the transgender like swimsuits and stuff. Like my kids don't need to see that. Why do I have to explain to my kids what tucking is when they're 6?
Tucking.
It angered me deep. Like Nike, whatever, that was an affront to women. Bud Light also kind of just stupid. But like when Target actually put me in a position where I had to explain things to my children that I wouldn't typically explain, that's what pushed me over the edge.
That'll do it. Mm-hmm. My first one was the Gillette one. Toxic masculinity. That was before woke was really on my radar. That was kind of like that was like the opening for me, where I watched that ad and was like, wait, so your new position is that like men, their wiring is to bully, sexually harass, and we should just all try to do better. Like everybody do better because we're all Harvey Weinstein now. Like everybody's Harvey Weinstein.
Everyone. Yeah.
Like how come I can't pick some complete psycho female and go, oh my God, girl, like Jodi Arias goes and she's like this girl who was this guy's girlfriend, and then she ended up coming there, having sex with him, and then murdering him and taking pictures of him. And she's this really pretty girl that looks totally normal, and you watch her talk. And it's like, oh, so why don't I make a commercial that just indicates that like absent girls making a hard effort, they'll just murder all their lovers, like because they're psychos.
Yeah, that's what we do.
It's just ridiculous. The thing that bothers me the most about the toxic masculinity talk track is that just because I know for sure that those weirdos at first glance would be like, you're the poster child of exactly what we're talking about.
For sure.
And I would be like, okay, you understand, if you actually knew me, I empower women, first of all.
100%.
I'm raising them and I empower them, and I would protect girls with my life. Like if I ever saw a girl being victimized, I'm going to smash the fucking person that's doing it. You know, they're like, did you say smash? Oh my God, toxic masculinity. I'm like, did I say I smash people for protecting fun? Yeah, exactly. We don't need protect. Oh, you don't?
I objectively do.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you sure?
I am don't much need protecting? Smaller.
Yeah. Like if I was a broken brain predator, do you think it would be hard for me to subdue her and do whatever I want physically?
It would not be hard at all.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like you like Jordan Peterson talks about this the best, where he's like, you need I can't remember what his
I know the one that you're talking about.
Yeah. It's like there are people like me to keep psychopathic men in check.
Yes.
You know, like the sociopaths in check, because like everyone understands violence, violent repercussions.
It's the universal language. Yeah.
Exactly. Because those guys, they would just do and take whatever they want.
Exactly.
Motherfuckers. I wonder how many of those people are born versus like created by abuse.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think It's a combination. I think that you can put two people through the same awful, terrible childhood, and one will come out okay and one won't, depending on their hardwiring.
Yeah. You have actually done a very good job explaining to me and then kind of making me understand the connection between genetic predisposition and like activating those
Epigenetics.
things.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
I never knew anything about that.
It's really, really fascinating.
Yeah.
Like we're born with certain code.
Yep.
And certain foods or lifestyle choices or whatever, you can physically turn genes on and off, which is like some people are predisposed to obesity. Yep, they are. But if you introduce certain foods into their lifestyle, it will make it more likely for that obesity gene to be turned on. And if you take those foods away, you can actually turn it back off.
Yeah.
Wildly fascinating branch of science.
Yeah.
Epigenetics is super, super cool.
Addiction, perfect example.
Addiction, exactly.
Like a person could be hardwired for hard addiction, but if they never
don't
drink,
introduce the substance,
you know, like like this person is going to be a stone alcoholic, but guess what? If they never drink, then that will never happen. You know, and but the more they drink, the stronger the kind of genetic response
the pathway
to it is.
becomes. Yeah.
Yeah. My brother, you know, in that regard, because my brother's a drug counselor, the like best metaphor that he ever gave me for that was he said that he tells his patients that like your brain is like you're in the middle of a cornfield, and every time that you do a behavior, an impulsive behavior, you're like knocking down. And so there's this path that is so easy to just walk from one place to the other, and to do the other thing
You gotta
is
go
just full.
smash
Like
the corn down.
Exactly. So like the first day that you don't drink is like, you know, like jungle trying to cut through it. But then the next day it's a little bit easier, and then easier, then easier. And then every compounding day, that one overgrows. And then this one, you know, and it's like, it's just, I've learned that in my own life that like, if you can get like something that's like is overwhelmingly hard, if you fucking white knuckle it through the first day, like, or, you know, 1-2 days, all of a sudden you're like, wow, why did I think that was going to be so fucking hard?
I mean, there's science on it. First day is obviously hard, but 21 days to create a new habit. Like that's the science. You can, if you do something for 21 days in a row, you have created that new neural pathway and it becomes part of you.
Yeah.
Like you created a new habit. It's fascinating.
Yeah. Every time that I talk to someone who is kind of like not old, but like older to where, and I could tell they're a jiu-jitsu person.
Yeah.
They're like kind of like warrior that doesn't have any outlet, you know? And I'm like, dude, just take my word for this.
Go do jiu-jitsu.
Go join a jiu-jitsu gym. And for 2 weeks, you train a minimum of 4 days, 2 straight weeks. And like, no matter what, you hate it the first day, doesn't matter, but just go back and train at least 4 days for 2 straight weeks. If you hate it, cool. But if you like it, it's going to completely change your life. And there are 2 people that I told that to, and both of them are blue belts now.
I love it. I should go get our kids.
All right. Love you guys.
See you next time.
Subscribe to the channel. Oh, yeah. Hey, why don't you subscribe? And then I'll cut this
that.
and put it, you know, whatever. Yeah, subscribe.